It is so crazy to me that this would take anyone into thinking that this guy is just doing the right thing, coming out and openly and honestly talking about this. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is maggot was dangling this information in front of his band to sell tickets for his gigs. You know, when someone comes out as a bad person, no one was friends with them. No one really knew who they were, right? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I wasn't really that close to the guy, to be honest. I mean, the thing is, if you've been following the story quite closely, then you probably are not really going to be that... like, there's not much here that you're going to be able to garner from this, you know? It's just confirming what you already know. But if you're not in the online space or you're not paying attention to this, I mean, Bloomberg is like a mainstream outlet. So, you know, this is probably the first time that some people would have seen this or heard about this, you know? So, yeah, I think that whilst if you've been following it, it probably was kind of worthless. There's obviously maybe some people that hadn't seen it, that this would have been their first introduction to the story. Yeah, exactly. It's like things have to be pretty major for a big outlet like this to pick it up, right? So I think the fact it got reported, I mean, was, if you weren't convinced already, like, you know, there's your confirmation that that is the reason that he got banned, you know? I think there would need to be some crazy thing happen for this to not be correct. And they probably did, as journalists, speak to and verify people and stuff like that, you know? Oh, wait a second. Okay, put that on pause for a sec. I didn't realise. Dude. Okay. Right. Wait a second. I've got a belated birthday present, okay? Okay, you ready for this? Okay, it's a little comic. It's a little comic. Okay? Right. Bro, that is insane. The surprise party. Do they still have it? Of course, birthday boy. Wait, why has this guy got a nose like this? What is going on here? We added 2 extras today inside. And they're like, awooga, seeing the gawk. Is that supposed to be crewman? Oh my god, dude. Dude, that's crazy. That is fucking crazy, dude. Very good. Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, I can see there's lots of little Easter eggs, isn't there? Look. Slop and Kebab, Griff King. Spicy Rules. Oh, look, Bug Squander, look, eh? Drugs. That's fun. Good stuff. The Chud birthday surprise. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Very good. Very, very good. Good stuff. Well, you could probably keep that in the segment, eh? Why not? Fuck it. It's fun. It's funny. Funny. Yeah, keep it in. Keep it in as a little bonus moment, okay? Okay. As long as it's not going to get demonetized because of the gox. Anyway, the other point to make with this, and this is like, you know, the Russell Brand thing as well was another situation like this, right? Where it's like the Times publishing the article means that it's gone through a variety of legal steps in order to get it published, right? This isn't some fucking retard blog thing. So the legal team behind Bloomberg are confident that this is a watertight report. So it speaks to, you know, somewhat at least. You know, I know there's a lot of distrust in the mainstream media, but, you know, they'd have had to be confident that what is stated here is true and has been verified to some sort of journalistic standard, right? Now, again, doesn't mean they always get it right, but I think the fact that Bloomberg are willing to publish this article does speak to the veracity of the claims made there within, right? So yeah. But again, obviously, it was really just repeating, you know, what we knew already, which was just Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch for this reason. That's the reason that's claimed. But obviously Dr. Disrespect had responded. He'd said he hadn't done anything wrong and there were legal kind of situations that were stopping him from speaking further. However, I think pretty soon after this article was released, Dr. Disrespect released a fuller statement. And basically, Dr. Disrespect went, yeah, I did it. He just said, yep, I did do the thing that I was accused of, actually. And yeah, why would he admit to it? My guess would be that there's some other thing. I mean, this is, you know, okay, one of the most annoying things about, there's lots of annoying things about this story. One of the annoying things about this story is that there's so many people that are like teasing, even to this day, people are still teasing stuff and talking about stuff like there's other shit that's going to come out, right? And, you know, it's like people just need to stop speaking in fucking riddles and just speak straight on what the fuck is going on. Because there's still, you know, aspects of this that people are saying are going to be released further. So the point being, though, putting that to one side, is I wonder if there is some truth to that there is this alleged document that's floating around behind the scenes, right? And maybe that is going to be more damning, which is maybe why he's put the statement out, to get something out about it, to get ahead of something further that may be coming out. That's my best guess as to why he just kind of admit to this, right? Because I'm like, why? There's no need. He's responded and he's still obviously being quite coy. So there's no real need to release a further statement, but he has done anyway. The other thing it could be, and maybe it's a combination of both, but the other thing that it could be too is that he's hoping that he can just put this statement out, right? Okay. And then he can disappear for a bit. And then by the time he comes back, a lot of it is blown over. And, you know, he's able to kind of like continue on without much further conversation about it. Maybe it's both, maybe it's one or the other, maybe it's something totally different, right? But in any case, I mean, this statement is, you know, I mean, he admits to wrongdoing in this statement. I mean, what more can you really say? So, yeah, I mean, you know, and also as we go through this, obviously I have seen some of the discourse around this, okay? And there's lots of people who are saying, you know, well, without seeing the messages, you know, I can't really fully decide. And I think some people are doing that out of an abundance of caution. If you want to do that, I guess that's fine. But there's also some people who I think are coping, and they're expecting that these logs are going to like be so minor that they would serve to kind of exonerate Dr. Disrespect. It's possible, okay? But the way I look at it is, this is Dr. Disrespect's statement, okay, to like talk about this and get it out there in the open, right? Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, okay? Quite funny with what we're going to look at in just a sec. But my view on it is this, okay? Why would Dr. Disrespect not just put anything that could potentially be in his favor in this statement, right? Like if he didn't know the age, or, you know, there was some other thing with it that makes it where it's not quite as bad or something like that. Why would he not put it in this statement, you know? But so to me, I would assume that it's probably like fairly bad, because otherwise why would, like, you would surely say, oh, I didn't know the age, or they lied about their age, or they catfished me or something, you know? Or yeah, or if the person was like, you know, 17, or, you know, if they were like, what is it, 17 years, 364 days, you know, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds old, he would surely have put it in this statement so that there's that out there for people to chew on a little bit, right? But he didn't.
Welcome to Chud Nation.
And he's lied, and he's the liar. He's lied about this now. He's demonstrably lied in this previous statement about this. He said previously he didn't do anything wrong, right? People say that he only said there was no wrongdoing found, but that's not true. He released a second statement and said, I didn't do anything wrong, but here he is admitting to wrongdoing. So he lied in his first statement. So Dr. Disrespect, in releasing this statement, has also, you know, demonstrated that he's willing to lie in order to, you know, cover up for himself. So, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not, you know, like, unless you want to just fall on a sword there's no point to really meaningfully go out of your way to defend Dr. Disrespect on this.
Welcome
because,
to Chud Nation.
Did you know the Bangladesh Liberation War lasted 9 months?
Okay.
Did you know I'd need to
Thank you for that, but listen, that's too much. Listen, I appreciate the sub. I'll replay it when I'm finished, okay? But thank you very much for the sub. So yeah, I just think, you know, it's fine. My position on this has always been, just wait for more information, wait from wherever it is before you conclude. But him admitting what he does in this message, I mean, what is there to defend, really? You know, you can kind of get into the weeds of like, well, what are the messages? How old was the person? Did he know the age and stuff like that? Possibly, you know, always leave a small, slim chance that there could be some further information that maybe changes things. But I just would have thought he would have put it in his statement if there was anything that might, you know, serve to exonerate him in this, and he's not put it in there. So, you know, I mean, you know, he's lied in a previous statement now. He said he didn't do anything wrong, but he's admitting to wrongdoing here. So he's lied previously. So why, you know, why would I, you know, trust what this guy's got to say about it in terms of like, he's already demonstrated he's willing to lie to downplay it. I would assume he's probably downplaying it here based on that. So anything that does come out is likely to make it worse than this statement. But again, who knows? Obviously, there could still be something that comes out. I just don't really see the point in arguing a toss about it when he's admitting to wrongdoing and he is saying it in a way that is looks pretty fucking bad, right? And then, we'll just mention it now. We'll get to that too. And then there's the obvious editing of this statement as well, which also looks bad, right? So, dude, listen, look. I am all for waiting for information and evidence, and I'm all for saying, you know, don't conclude 100% without 100% proof. That's fine. But this is pretty bad, and I personally would advise, you know, it's not really worth falling on the sword if you are still someone that is looking to kind of defend or disrespect. I just think that you're making yourself look retarded. We will get to the email as well in a minute, and, you know, I'll speak about that separately. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get through the statement, okay? The Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. See, this is my problem with all of this. He's an exceptionally dishonest actor, right? He's saying there's no filter with me, right? After we've had 2 previous statements which have had a filter on because he's lied. Bro, what is he on about? Well, no filter with me. Yes, there is. You just put out 2 statements that had a filter on. Fuck me, dude. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. Okay. Except, dude, it is so crazy to me that this would take anyone into thinking that this guy is just doing the right thing, coming out, you know, and openly and honestly talking about this when something has been revealed and he's scrambled to come up with some sort of fucking, you know, legalese response in order to obfuscate the truth. And now he's banged to rights. He's finally going, okay, well, I am admitting to it. Bro, this guy is a fucking dishonest wretch, you know, as well as being a nonce, okay? I mean, dude, it's so unreal to me that he wants to try and play this game where he talks like he's got no filter and he's a straight shooter when he hasn't been.
Mainstream media. Thank you. Take my money and
hey, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. No filter with me 4 years later. Well, actually 7 years later. But anyway, let's continue. Which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I. And we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. So, I mean, obviously, I think that statement from Midnight Society was unclear in terms of like who they'd spoken to. based on this, I mean, we don't know exactly what it is, but it could be that maybe it was more of a collective decision in terms of he agreed to step down because he maybe copped to them as to what had happened behind the scenes. And so, you know, he offered or decided or agreed to step away off the back of him telling them what happened, right? Because I think people were kind of like, well, who did they speak to? How could they have got the information? What's most likely is probably he copped to it to these guys, and then collectively they decided where you've got to go, right? Because the guy who ran the studio also put out a message and said, like, this isn't to do with my legal team or anything, but I can't work with someone who's, you know, done this essentially. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. So, everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the allegations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Right, okay. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Now, the other thing I'll throw in here as well, whilst you're on the topic, which further adds to Dr. Disrespect's dishonesty, obfuscation, and I think speaks to his character in all of this, right? Is I'm just going to scroll down here and look at the edit history. Because if you look, and this actually did cause some confusion, because if you look at the original statement, you can see individual minor is in there. But then the second version of this, he deleted the word minor. So he put it out with the word minor in. He then edited it to remove the word minor, which is just insane to me. And then the full statement as it stands now, it was edited to re-add minor in again. Oh, dude, that's rough. That is rough. So particularly with his admission here as well, at every step of the way, it's now pretty inarguable, right, that Dr. Disrespect has lied and been dishonest in how he's presented this, right? And now even in this statement, he's trying to manipulate the language in order to, make it look more favorable towards him. And that's why I'm saying, I don't think that anything that comes out from here is something we're going to look at and we're going to go, oh, well, it's not actually that bad. It's just a very mild comment once to a 17-year-old, whatever, right? I don't think it's going to be that, because why would he be so dishonest and lie about it so much, even to the point where he's editing the word minor in this statement? Exactly. It just comes across every step of the way. He's just done, damage control. So, yeah, I mean, by all means, if you want to really hold out for 100% certainty of what happened, then obviously you can, I guess, wait for the DMs. But, yeah, I just think that that's stupid. And it's almost like, I feel like in this discourse, right, I feel like we've seen a flip reverse of this, where initially it was the people who were going super hard off the back of unverified claims that an ex-Twitch employee had made, and were going to the full conclusion on it that were being retarded. But now it's kind of flipped around, and the people who are clearly emotionally invested in defending Dr. Disrespect have become the ones that are just saying retarded shit about this, that are kind of like spreading spreading this kind of like, that was, yeah, the concluders are, yes, of course, the concluders are still idiots. Just because you conclude and you're right about something doesn't mean that you were right to conclude, because your process is still fucked, because there wasn't enough evidence to conclude what had or hadn't happened, right? But now he's admitted it, and now he's confessed to it. You've got something to work with, right? You've got a person that was involved confessing to doing something, at least, you know? Concluding is still retarded. It doesn't matter if you turn out to be right. It's pure hindsight Andy sides-cucked bullshit, okay? So people will use this as an opportunity to try and act like they were smarter than everyone else. But the next time something like this happens, okay, they will conclude again, and they'll just so happen to get it wrong, and that will conveniently be forgotten about as time goes forward, and it will only be referenced to the fact that they got something right when they concluded on an occasion, you know? So, no, concluding is still retarded. Just because you happen to get something right doesn't make that process correct. You're still wrong to conclude, right? So, yeah. Another thing as well, right? Another thing that I found super obnoxious about this, right, is people are doing this, like, revisionist history on this ex-Twitch employee and are calling him a hero now, and are saying he heroically decided to reveal this information in the face of a potential lawsuit. This fucking maggot was dangling this information in front of his band to sell tickets for his gigs, right? Okay, and we're really going to act like he's a fucking hero. No, he's not a hero at all, right? He probably did it in some coked up, drunken fucking ramble he decided to do it, right? Okay? If someone was genuinely serious about whistleblowing, they would do it in a more professional way or a more professional statement, and they would just put it out there without this fucking, oh, come to my band and maybe I'll say the reason that he got banned. No, the dude's not a fucking hero at all. You know, just because he released information that led to this coming out further doesn't change his actions retrospectively of what he did, you know? Yeah, it's fucking grotesque. Using it like fucking, you know, like bait or something like that. Yes, he used it to advertise his band. It was insane. So yeah, let's not retroactively, you know, look at things in the past and use your analysis on it because, oh, it turns out that what he said was correct. If he just put out a statement and said, hey guys, I've known this for a little while. I've really got to get out there. I do want to do a bit of a whistleblow type thing. I want to reveal the reason that Dr. Disrespect got banned was da-da-da-da-da, and it hasn't been revealed for this long, da-da-da. That would be totally fine. And I'd probably agree with you that that would be a more reasonable presentation that has more of a whistleblowing-esque theme to it, right? But not dangling it in front of his fucking band's ticket sales, you know? Anyway. So, in any case, concluding is still retarded, okay? Don't conclude. Don't use this as evidence that you should conclude about stuff. There's plenty of situations where you can conclude one way and it won't turn out the way that you're expecting it to. So it's always the best thing to do to wait for more information and see what comes out before you decide, you know, what exactly to think of something, okay? So anyway, continuing on. So he admits here to, you know, and then obviously, you know, he's admitting to messaging a minor in 2017. He's saying there wasn't real intent behind the messages, which is, you know, bro, that is like a fucking catch a predator defense, isn't it? I wasn't going to do anything. Look, what I will say is this, okay? What I will say is this. Obviously, completely inexcusable, completely wrong behavior, completely indefensible behavior, okay? But there's other stuff that we're going to look at later. I think that this guy's issue wasn't necessarily that he was like hunting down minors left, right, and center to talk to, right? I think it was probably a bit like, you know, the best case scenario, the pyrocynical situation, where he's just talking to anyone and everyone that will listen to him talk sexy stuff. There's a tweet that we're going to look at in a bit, which is quite funny, right? But I think he was probably just, you know, yeah, like a crime of opportunity or something. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean, though? That's the impression that I get. That's the impression that I get, is like he was just willing to talk to anyone. Obviously, without knowing the age or the exact nature of the messages, it's difficult for me to really, call him a full-blown P-word, PDF. But I think certainly he's a nonce. I would call him a nonce, right? That would be my kind of way of referring to it. Hey, J Meta, thank you for the $50. Shiba dog wearing samurai armor, writing, "You're amazing," in the air with sparklers. Thank you for the $50. Thank you. So, just on that note, people are saying that she was 17. I don't know where people are getting this age from. Maybe that email, which we'll get to, that was floating around. But I've seen no confirmation or verification that the person was 17. As far as I'm concerned, the age is still unknown at this point, right? So the age is unknown. The exact messages, I don't know what was and wasn't said. But I think an admission of having, at the very least, by his word, which I don't really trust, but he's likely to be downplaying it, right, if anything. But him saying they lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate with a minor. I mean, dude, that is just... That's a crazy admission. That is an insane admission of, pretty substantial wrongdoing. I mean, he was, I mean, I don't know what size he was back then, but he's been around for a little while and he's quite a big creator, Yeah. Exactly, that's my point. I think if the age was favorable towards him, he would have mentioned it, okay? So again, nothing conclusive in saying that, but why would you not say, if it's like, oh, the person lied about their age, actually? You'd put that in there because that makes your case more favorable, right? So anyway, continuing on. He was huge back then. Right, okay. Even 17 is, but the problem, the thing is, the reason people talk about that is because obviously you would view it very differently if it was someone that was, what's the meme? 17 years old, 364 days, 24 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. You'd view that very differently to if it was like a 13-year-old, right? Like 13-year-old, you're bang to rights, definitely nonce, a full-blown PDF, right? Whereas 17, you would still think badly of it, of course, but it wouldn't be quite as damning. And then if the person had either lied about the age or he didn't know the age, maybe, that would obviously be a lot more favorable towards him. But he's not said anything about this. He's not said anything about it. So, I see people arguing about it and wanting the logs. That's fine. If you genuinely are one of those people that wants the full facts before you fully decide, that's fine. That's your right. All I'd say is make sure that you're not just coping, and what you're thinking, because I do not think that stuff is going to come out that is going to make Dr. Disrespect look better. Okay? This statement is the thing that I think is going to make him look best of all. And anything that comes out, I would guess, is probably going to make him look worse. And this statement is real fucking bad. Okay? Anyway, continuing on. Okay. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Okay. So that obviously isn't giving much away in terms of that suit. With this an account, if he's admitting that he did do the thing, I would imagine that what that came down to is probably some sort of autist contractual based issue, right?
Okay, that's wonderful.
Because
but
he did do the thing. And so
she also said I was a huge creator.
Thank you for the 333. So it sounds like there was an acceptance that he did do the thing. And it's just maybe the clause wasn't in there to adequately cover the morality. Yeah, maybe the morality clause or whatever they had didn't quite cover what he'd done or something, right? Because I don't know, obviously, the legal aspects of it. I'm a fucking retard on that front. But maybe the morality clause was written in such a way that it would only apply if you did something illegal or something like that, right? So, yeah. It could, yeah, sure. It could just be they didn't want this all to come out in the public eye and stuff like that. There's a number of things. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer. We're going to watch the legal guy talk about it because he seemed to have some quite good information. But, It's the basic point to take away from this is that it does seem pretty fucking likely, based on all this now, that Twitch were correct to ban him. He did do the thing that he was accused of doing, which was bad, which is probably very likely the reason they banned him. And this contractual issue was to do with autistic contractual debate of terms rather than a comment on whether or not he did a bad thing, right? Or did the thing that he was accused of wrong. Anyway, continuing on. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have been brought against me. Okay, so that's probably true. And, you know, obviously, again, we don't know the nature of the messages, but it is possible that he'd had a conversation that leaned in the direction of being inappropriate, and maybe it wasn't a legal issue because there wasn't the sort of criteria met of the statute that would apply to this sort of interaction, right? But yeah. But Dr. Disrespect, as far as I'm concerned, is a nonce and a liar, okay? I mean, he fucking lied. He said he didn't do anything wrong. And he's here admitting to wrongdoing now. Just not legal wrongdoing. I mean, you know, crazy. Continuing on. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Does this not ring so fucking hollow, though? When it's been years and years, and nothing has come out and nothing's been said? And he's been living on borrowed time, with this probably hanging over him in some regard. And the only reason now is because he's banged to rights. Don't forget, initially, he tried to wriggle out with it with legal terminology, released a second statement where he did the same, and said he didn't do anything wrong in that second statement. Bro, you lied. You lied initially. And also as well, he clearly lied to his friends too, which we'll get to. Well, either his friends are lying about, you know, having known and they didn't say anything, or alternatively, which I think is probably more likely, is he probably lied to his mates about it, which is why they've, you know, gone to bat for him. Because obviously some of his close associates have released statements kind of condemning him now. But always funny, isn't it? Always funny how, you know, when someone comes out as a bad person, no one was friends with them. No one really knew who they were, right? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I wasn't really that close to the guy, to be honest. Very interesting how that happens. His friends could be lying, sure, but whatever. Anyway, we don't need to split hairs over that. There's the conversation to be had there about whether they knew or not. I personally would tend to fucking, you know, Tim the Tatman, I don't think knew. I don't think Tim the Tatman had any knowledge of this at all, right? Okay? But Nickmercs, I think there is a good argument that he could have known. I lean more towards he was lied to, but I think you can make a good argument that he knew, okay? But we'll look at their statements as well and see what they had to say, all right? Anyway, let's continue. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no effing predator or PDF file. I mean, you know, the problem you've got here is by the layman's definition of PDF, you are. Everyone is going to call you that because that's what they see it as. You know, I obviously would not use that terminology. I'd rather talk about the actions and stuff like that. But I think calling him a predator is more than reasonable. I mean, it's a perfectly legitimate label for someone who has admitted to having inappropriate messages with a minor. You know? Yeah, I like the word nonce. It's kind of like it's kind of a fun word, isn't it? You know? But that is like calling someone a pedo or something, right? It's not, to me at least, I don't use it in the same gravitas as calling someone the full word. But it is speaking to a, you know, a wrong behavior, right? Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think this predator thing is the denial of that. It's like a cope, you know? It's like a cope, really. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those type of people. Wait, hang on a minute. Wait, fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Oh my god, dude. Is he Mama Maxing in the midst of his statement where he's admitting to having had somewhat inappropriate messages with a minor? That's wild, dude. That's wild. Dude, why don't you just... Dude, why don't you just leave that bit out? I think that can go unsaid. I think that just makes it look like you're coping about being a nonce, to be honest. Anyway. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Yeah. But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself.
How do I make money
That's it.
off
That's why
depressed
Twitch
people?
made this decision in 2020.
Men in wigs were grooming kids on social media.
Hey, thank you for the 333. Appreciate it. And also, well, would he have the logs? I mean, if he had the logs, I mean, that's a lot of assumption there. But if he did have the logs and they would exonerate him, then yeah, obviously he should just post them to demonstrate the nature of what they are so people can see. But I doubt he's got them. I don't think he'd have them to hand. Twitch does, though. Twitch does. Twitch does. We'll get to Twitch. There's certainly some... Oh, dude, I don't know, man.
To Chud Nation.
He a fan, he a fan, he a fan.
You know, I don't know if, like, you know, I said the other day, people like Moral Frog super hard about Twitch and stuff, and it's like, I don't know the ins and outs of it and why certain decisions were made. But one thing I do know is that if you're a CEO of a company, you probably shouldn't go onto stream and joke about the reason that someone was banned when it turns out they were banned for inappropriate interactions with a minor. Probably best to say no comment and say you can't talk about it, okay? I think telling jokes about it, which then, you know, come forward after this comes out, just makes you look terrible. Absolutely terrible. But we'll get to that in a minute, okay? Anyway, continuing on. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community and circle. It happened pre-Dan Clancy. But, okay, we'll get to that. I don't think that makes much of a difference because I cannot imagine that Dan Clancy didn't know the enormity of it, right? I cannot imagine the CEO is not going to be fucking told, listen, there's, you know, it's like when you become president, right? I'm sure there's a big vault of secrets that you walk into and you can find out who assassinated JFK or whatever, okay? But I'm pretty sure that you're going to get told at the highest level of the business if there's certain pain points within the company you need to be aware of going forward, right? And also, wasn't Dan in senior management before he was CEO? No, I thought he was in the company already, right? So he probably would have had some insight somehow, some way. Anyway, we'll get to that clip in a sec, okay? I mean, I don't have much to say about Twitch. I just think there are some questions that I think are worth some thought in regards to that. But yeah, I have the best community and circle. If any of this made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you always have been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real-life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. This is a pretty bold move. But let's see how this plays out. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm not the same guy who made the mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream. And I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, fucking right. See, the problem here is if something happened in 2017 and, you know, obviously we don't know the age exactly. If it was someone particularly young, I think that would be inexcusable pretty much indefinitely for doing this sort of thing, right? But if it was someone that was like older and there was a mistake made or something somewhere, you know, and you'd accepted fault for it years and years ago, maybe you could like have a point with this. But it's like he's only just being held to account for this now publicly. Do you see what I mean? It's like, yeah, but you've hidden from this for years, right? You've hidden from this for years, and people are rightly being very critical of you for this. I mean, I agree that some people were concluding ahead of time. That's fine, but that doesn't really matter now because you've admitted to doing some wrongdoing here. You've lied about it previously, and you want to act like people are being unreasonable for like coming at you when it's only just been revealed to a lot of people, right? And it's like you want to go, yeah, I don't give a fuck about the haters. I mean, some of the hate is going to be a bit obnoxious, of course, right? I get that, but like, there's plenty of people who are not like super anti-doctor disrespect or anti-politics or something like that. They just think what you've done is gross and disgusting, and they want to kind of criticize you for that. But it's almost like you want to wipe that away and act like, you know, well, it happened a long time. I made a mistake a long time ago. Well, yeah, but you've not really accepted the mistake because you've not admitted fault publicly for years. And only now, on my birthday of all days, June 25th, 2024, are you actually hot fessing up and holding your hands up, you know? It would be like if someone say, you know, I'm not saying he committed a crime, obviously, but just to use as an example, right? If someone committed a crime, you know, 7 years ago, right? And then goes to a police station and goes, I did a crime 7 years ago. And they go, right, you're under arrest. What, I'm going to go to prison? But that was 7 years ago. I'm a different person now. It's like, but you haven't really been held to account for the thing that you did that was wrong. Like, you've only just admitted to it, for fuck's sake. You know, literally in the last 2 days have you admitted to this, and admitted to it off the back of public pressure because someone has actually revealed this, you know, publicly, which has led to discussion, news reporting, and so on, you know? So, yeah, there we go. I mean, it's I mean, the statement's terrible. It's a terrible statement, you know? The way it goes from this admission of fault after lying and saying you hadn't done anything wrong to then say, no, I'm going to take responsibility when you weren't going to in the first place. I mean, dude, it's just shameful, you know? And yeah, I mean, I don't think, obviously it was a long time ago, but you haven't admitted to it or really accepted fault in a public fashion for it. It's like you've reaped the reward of the public attention, right? In a positive fashion from people and got loads of viewers. But yet, you know, you haven't really been held to account in a meaningful way. Yes, you lost your contract initially, but you got that paid out in a contract dispute. I mean, you know, like, how has this guy had any bad experience with doing something wrong? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm very much a believer in that people should, if they do something wrong, have some sort of accountability or whatever. It gets overused and overdone. But yeah, I mean, he got his contract paid out. He's been able to exist for years without this being discussed or talked about, without it affecting his career. He's wealthy. Like, dude, it's crazy to me, you know, that he's acting like, yeah, well, you haters have got no life experience. Bro, you've absolutely fucking made hay while the sun shine. Well, the sun has shined over this, you know? Anyway. It's so bad if he's actually, I mean, look, I always will say, right? I will always say to you, okay, keep your mind open for something. Sometimes a Hail Mary play might happen. You never know, like, what, some crazy thing might happen. Maybe the messages are released and it's like he's for somehow overstating what he did and it's not that bad or something. Maybe. But dude, it is like the least possible eventuality at this point, right? I don't know, man. I just think the idea that the messages would make him look better, and he's not said anything here that makes him look better is crazy to me. Unless he's just really bad at making statements and wants everyone to call him a pedo. Anyway. Also, that's another point too from Miku there. That's another really good point too. If anything, he's benefited from the way that Twitch treated him, because he has reaped the reward of people thinking that he got done dirty by Twitch, particularly with the contract lawsuit that got made, right? But it turns out that it looks like Twitch, in terms of banning him, it looks like it wasn't the wrong decision, you know? mean, if he's admitting to doing it and that's why they banned him, I mean, yeah, he's banged to rights. What do you think of Slasher, the journalist who kept the story on the wraps for 4 years? Look, if there's anyone that I would think badly of for not talking about this for 4 years, if anyone, it would be Twitch, because I'm sure there's I mean, this has been a rumor. I'm sure that journalists have known a bit about this, but they've not been able to publicize it because seemingly it's been one of the industry's best kept secrets, in terms of having an on the record, first contact, first party source to talk about this, right? From what I can gather, I think it's just secondhand sources that have been saying it, and it has been known as a rumor rather than a fact. So you can't really just publish an article on the basis of a rumor necessarily. And if you do that, you could potentially get sued for defamation or something, right? So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of Twitch, I must say, the clips like this are crazy to me with hindsight now. I'll just show you this clip, right? Let's have a look at this.
Wants to know, after all these years, why was Dr. Disrespect banned?
Wow, I've never had that one. Whoa. Well, now that I'm on Mrs. Channel, let me tell you what really happened. Okay? So, there was an alien invasion. Okay? Many people did not know about the alien invasion. Okay? And the aliens actually possessed Dr. Disrespect.
Oh.
Okay? And it actually took over the globe using Twitch.
With the Shungite.
Yes, okay. And so the only way we could save civilization, okay, was to take the action we did. Okay, so it was to save civilization.
Wants to know.
Is that not utterly insane? Like, I can understand if there's some sort of legal ramifications and there was a genuine contract, even though the Dr. Disrespect had done something terribly wrong. From a contract perspective, Twitch are in the wrong and they had to do a settlement or whatever, right? I think there's an argument there that Twitch maybe should have at least told YouTube about it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I don't know. But, there's lots of arguments you can have about it, right? There's lots of different points you can make. We don't know the full legal ramifications, okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, okay?
If I had this situation hanging over my head after leaving Twitch, I'd retire. Not start a game studio and keep expanding. What goes up must come down.
Thank you for the $5. As the CEO of Twitch, to go onto a platform with Mizkiv no less, okay, and to make jokes and make light out of someone that you banned for inappropriate interactions with a minor, okay, what are you doing? That is insane. If this ever gets out, you're going to look terrible. And it does look terrible that you're joking about this when you should have just said, that's something I'm not able to talk about, unfortunately, so I can't answer that question. Move on to the next. All right, keep it professional. Well, no, they're not mandatory reporters. They may have reported something anyway. We don't know, but I don't think they're mandated to do so. And I don't really look, I don't know the legal aspects of this, the ramifications of what Twitch could and couldn't do, could and couldn't say. So apparently they told Discord. So they did tell Discord about it, right? I'm imagining their logic was, Discord is an app where he may have access to people. So, but then Discord only took away his partnership, I think. I don't know if they banned him. So, yeah. Anyway, that being said, regardless of which way you slice it, I just think that this is an insane thing to be joking about like this. And it looks very bad on Dan. It looks very bad on Twitch. Yeah. I don't know, man. Does Chud know about Richard Lewis streaming about what journalists knew yesterday? No, I've not seen that. To be honest with you, there's so much stuff with this. I'm going to watch the Hassan Slasher combo because, that should be fun and some legal thing. But dude, there's so many people commenting on this. It's very difficult to keep up with everyone's fucking take on it. But yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems like a very, very inappropriate thing to be joking about. Oh, is it? Okay. I like Richard Lewis. I'm a big Richard Lewis fan. I actually really like Richard Lewis, to be fair. Richard Lewis is absolutely based. Richard Lewis does get a bit soy sometimes, but to me, it's kind of good soy. It's good soy, you know? So I'll allow it. But yeah. No, okay, well, listen, if the Richard Lewis stuff's good, we'll watch the Richard Lewis stuff. Not the comedian, no. No, not the comedian. Queeman was clapping and soy nodding and crying the whole segment. Wow, Queeman actually likes someone. That's shocking. Oh my God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Maybe we'll watch that. Anyway, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay, we'll get to it. Right. So that is the kind of like main news with this, or story, I should say. I just want to, you know, chastise another side to this. Because I had some people even send this to me, right? And it was almost like in a fervor sending this to me like this was some sort of evidence that helped back Doc up. And I took one look at it and I thought, yeah, this is probably not true. And that was it. I didn't really engage with it further. Right? Okay. Honestly, I feel a sense of anger looking at this and talking about this, because I feel like, you know, my thought process with this stuff is quite clear, right? Is you know, information, evidence, looking at stuff, coming to good, like fair conclusions or whatever, not jumping the gun, etc., 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 right? That doesn't mean that I'm going to look at what is seemingly, you know, on a brief glance, complete fucking bullshit. Okay? I go, oh yeah, no, this is definitely worth looking at. Bro, what do you think this is? This is just looks like complete nonsense. And people are sharing it as if it's true. Massive potential Dr. Disrespect leak. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's an unsourced, unverified email from a person we can't even see who it is. And it just so happens to have the exact lines of fucking, you know, thought that all the Dr. Disrespect dick suckers are going to want to hear. Dude, it's unbelievable to me that this was getting shared about as if this is serious and you should seriously believe this and take this into account, right? I'll read through it for you. I'm sending this to multiple known sources in the gaming news arena. I hope this is taken in the spirit in which is it intended. I'll keep this inbox open for 12 hours from now, then it will be gone forever. Well, there's the first warning sign for you. Why is someone who's got information leaking it off an email that you can't engage with and respond to and clarify who they are or anything, or they'll be around to clarify that after 12 hours? Why? Why do they need to disappear? That's fucking absurd, right? Okay? Absolutely clear sign that there's something amiss about this, in that, you know, because how it would work is if you were sending something to some journalistic entity or someone, you would say that you want this to be unattributed. You would say you can publish this or talk about this, but you can't name me. Okay? But this person wants to be totally off the record, but then wants the information to be out. Like, it's basically, there's no way to attribute this to anyone. So there's a big problem with it straight away, and the person is just going to disappear after 12 hours. Okay? Ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Here's what actually happened, but cannot be said publicly by the Dr. Disrespect camp. Right. Why? I know this came out before his statement, but why is it not possible for the Dr. Disrespect camp to say this? There were whispers between Guy and a 17-year-old on Twitch. So this is where by the way, this is where the 17-year-old claim has come from, is from this email, which is totally unverified. We don't know who it's from. We don't know anything about this person. It could just be a random person that's made all this up. But people are clinging to the idea that it's a 17-year-old because of this email, right? I mean, it just shows you how, oh, dude, it's so annoying. It's so... You're all fucking retarded concluders, the lot of you. You people, oh my God, it's so irritating. People see a piece of information that agrees with them, and they immediately like, oh, this must be true. It agrees with me, so it must be true. I'm going to send it to Chud. Don't fucking send it to me. You're as retarded as the people that are concluding on the other fucking side. Give me a fucking break. Fuck me, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. The people who look at this stuff and think, oh, well, it agrees with me, so it must be true. You're just as bad. How do you not see you're just as fucking bad? Anyway, continuing on. I'm chill, okay? I'm sorry raging. I'm fucking mad at the internet right now, okay? Okay. The age was not known at the time. So notice there, they're including two pieces of information, right? Which Dr. Disrespect has not mentioned in his statement. So the question for me would be, if the Dr. Disrespect camp has got this information that they were 17 and the age wasn't known at the time, why, if Dr. Disrespect is going against this legal thing apparently that he's got to contend with, to make a statement, why would he not say that himself in his statement? That's crazy. That would mean that he's got information which would be in his favour, that in his big statement about it, he's not said. So this is obviously after the statement, this came out before the statement came out, I think. But there's a big point of kind of contention there is, why would they not mention that themselves? Seems fucking retarded to me. Anyway, moving on. These were messages in relation to how to scale new channels using tried and tested methods. Again, not something that Doc mentioned. Behind the scenes, this was a service that was offered by members of the Dr. Disrespect team under a different brand name. I mean, a lot of this is Dr. Disrespect didn't say any of this. But anyway, continuing on. The brand name used could be interpreted many ways. The transcripts are part of the court proceedings and as outlined show no wrongdoing nor illegality. Okay, there's another thing that's annoying about this, right? There's people who, after the Dr. Disrespect statement came out, said, yep, that lines up. This lines up with the email. No, it doesn't. What do you mean? None of this was in his statement. Dude, the reality of it is, people get emotionally invested into a position, okay? And that's why people act the way they do about it. So they get emotionally invested into believing that Dr. Disrespect did the thing. And before it's confirmed, they're willing to conclude that. And then when it turns out they're right, because they're emotionally invested, they act like smug pricks about it, okay? And then on the flip side of that, you've got people that are emotionally invested in him not having done it. But then when something comes out which backs that up, even though it looks nonsense, they'll cling on to that. And then even when Dr. Disrespect releases a statement which goes against what they believe, they'll still cling on to this, even though it disputes this, because they're emotionally invested in it, right? So the best thing to do is to just not get so emotionally invested in stuff and just look at the information and evidence and go from there, right? Not like, dude, it's so irritating that no one seems capable of, just taking a step back from the precipice. Just endless emotional investment in stuff, which at the end of the day, what skin is it off your nose? Whether or not Dr. Disrespect is a fucking nonce. Like, what difference does that make to you as an individual? It doesn't, you know? Unless you know him, or you're his family, or you're his wife, or his kid, or something like that. What difference does it make? Also, another thing as well is there's a political aspect too, which has come into this, you know? And Dr. Disrespect has been the kind of icon of cancel culture from either side. And I've been defending him on the basis of, in some cases, have gone too far. It's like you just said, have gone too far defending him because, oh, it's cancel culture though, and they've decided it's cancel culture, even though they don't know, right? So, retardation all round. Anyway, continuing on. The issue on the Twitch side was how some of the messages and brand name used could be interpreted differently, and was interpreted differently by certain members of the Twitch team that had taken a dislike to Dr. Disrespect due to the bathroom incident. The internal feeling was that it would only be a matter of time before they got him on something. This one, however, was way wide of the mark and wasn't what they thought it was. This became the result of a lot of back and forth at Twitch with various people in the Let's Get Him camp and others in the We Can't Move Forward with This camp. Dude, does this not come across as, you know, like, like it's like fan fiction? The bathroom incident is when he streamed from a restroom. I think TwitchCon was it. He streamed from a restroom. Yeah, there was two forces at Twitch, one for and one against, fighting against each other. Dude, give me a break. Come on. His whispers were being monitored because of a core group of influential people within Twitch wanted him gone. So here's the big detail that really undermines this email, which people for some reason seem to have fucking missed. Okay? The whispers in question were actually from many, many, many weeks prior to his last stream. Dr. Disrespect said they were from 2017. So that's wrong. That's just not correct. That is just 100% wrong. So this is, if you haven't seen the problems with this, this should be the one thing that cracks the entirety of it, and you cannot take anything else. If they're getting like a fundamental fact of the case wrong, it's likely that this is complete nonsense, right? Like, it's a very simple detail to get right. The time that this happened. Well, I was wondering that, Nicholas, if they were doing a kind of like, you know, many weeks. Well, 3 years ago, that technically is many weeks, right? Maybe they were trying to account for something like that, you know? Anyway, I sort of skimmed through this bit and I stopped reading around there because it looked like nonsense. But let's read the rest of it as well. The initial explanation provided to him during the termination communication was inappropriate behavior not befitting of the Twitch brand. He's writing what he said at the time of his go live on YouTube, but we still don't know because for a long time, Twitch could not commit to an explanation over and above the inappropriate behavior not befitting of the Twitch brand until the matter went to court. The matter went to court and it was found in discovery. Oh my god, dude. It was found in discovery that not only did a group of Twitch employees conspire to get him, but they also broke data protection internal policy and CCPA regulations by disclosing to a third party who he also had a contract with what they perceived to have happened. Bro, exactly. It's just so absurd. It is fan fiction, and some people have been taken in by this because it. Dude, I can't. It's just total. What is it? Motivated reasoning. Is that what it's called? Like motivated reasoning cancer. You're like, you can imagine someone reading this. Like just today, I had someone respond to a tweet of mine. Oh, what'd you make of this, Chud? And it's like, it's fucking bullshit. What do you mean, what do I make of it? It's obviously nonsense. And I think less of you for sharing it with me. Like, of course. It gets fundamental facts of the details wrong. And there's a bunch of stuff that's said that would make Dr. Disrespect look better, and he's not mentioned it in his own statement. Fucking hell, dude. Anyway. Initially, the argument on their side became, why else would he be messaging someone that young, implying only a sinister perspective? For the avoidance of doubt, there was no sexting as implied by a former Twitch employee. There were messages, but not of that nature. Dr. Disrespect was the one who initiated legal proceedings and settled because of the fact that once something like that is said about someone, it cannot be unsaid. And there would always be some perhaps not fans who would say, well, there's no smoke without fire. We have seen many people accused of things that turned out to not be true in the past. But by that time, the damage was done. He agreed to the no party admits any wrongdoing joint statement purely because he understandably wanted all this kept quiet. The fact that a former Twitch staff member has now made this tweet has changed this considerably. It's out there now and can't be walked back. Dr. Disrespect is furious he can't respond to this properly because his lawyers are telling him that it'll make the agreement invalid and he may be forced to pay back the settlement that he won. I'll say again that he won. I mean, this just... You know, it's very clear that this has been crafted to appeal specifically to the kind of people who are going to defend Dr. Disrespect no matter what, right? And people are going to bandy this about as, like, good evidence when it just isn't. Someone might as well just write something themselves up a notepad and go, well, I found this statement about Dr. Disrespect. It said he's not a pedo. So what do you think of that? There will be legal avenues explored on this one, and it'll likely ultimately manifest itself in a huge damages claim against Twitch for this coming out. It's clear in the industry that they were absolutely raging when he reappeared on YouTube and came back bigger than ever. When he publicly backed Nickmercs recently, so that's another piece of red meat as well, you know? There's another piece of red meat here. Oh, it must be, you know, linked to the Nickmercs stuff. An ex-Twitch employees tried to identify if they compromised separation agreements from Twitch would be nullified if they spoke out, and only one had the guts to try after testing the water numerous times before to sell concert tickets. The person would have largely been fined legally if he had not mentioned the word sexting, because it was all about damaging Dr. Disrespect's reputation. But because they used that word, expect legal proceedings to get underway quickly, because the transcripts were absolutely categorically show there was no sexting, but merely communications with someone who turned out to be a minor. That was not known at the time, that certain people within Twitch with an agenda against Dr. Disrespect pounced and made it fit their agenda with zero proof. Again, you know, why would Dr. Disrespect not mention any of this in his own statement? I'm a former Twitch employee. I now work elsewhere, and I will not be identifying myself, and I will not answer any questions about who I am. See, this is absurd. Okay? This is fucking ludicrous, right? You don't, obviously there's some people you might not trust, but if you speak to a journalistic organization, right, they will protect your identity, right? They are obligated by the ethics of their profession to not reveal you, and they would quote you as an anonymous source, okay? Like, this is a massive sign that this is bullshit because they're not willing to say who they are. Well, then that means you can't verify their identity, right? Fuck me, dude. How do people fall for this, bro? It's crazy. However, I will answer some questions in relation to this case, as I was very close to this at the time. He deserves the right to have some transparency, but he's tied legally in what he can say until the new proceedings progress. He has the right to some of the story being out there, even if he can't be the one to say it. Journalist bound by ethics, Lamau Goodone. Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. If you speak to a journalist and you say, I want to remain anonymous, but here's my credentials and here's my identity, okay, then they will, you know, I mean, obviously there's some journalists that you might not trust, so maybe you don't want to do that with certain outlets that have made a mistake in the past. But there's going to be at least some journalists that you would trust to verify your identity to, but then not have your identity revealed, right? If I can't be the one to say, so I'm sending this an independent party who's fully aware of the facts and feel very uncomfortable with what I've seen thrown at him in the past few days based on the agenda of a small group of people who do not like him. Exactly, yes. And if a journalist reveals a source and they're not supposed to, that's going to look very bad on them. Like, the reason, there's a pragmatic consideration there too, where a journalist is going to want to do that, because then if they leak the source, then they're never going to get fucking leaks, are they? So there's a pragmatic aspect too. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Once you've went past today's person, a generous small group who do not like him, you should also ask yourself, why are some of those people no longer at Twitch? Because they broke policy, and in some cases the law, by breaching data protection regulations. Well, some of them probably aren't at Twitch anymore because they've had massive layoffs. I mean, I don't think... There's been like very prominent mass layoffs of Twitch. So maybe it's to do with that, rather than your little fucking conspiracy. Many people were dealt with as a result of this and lost their jobs. You have a duty to balance the reporting of this until such time as court proceedings will have the clarity you shouldn't have waited for but didn't. He's been good to you all. He's not what it said and deserves better, especially considering he agreed for their behaviour not to be made public as he wanted to protect the income stream of others. The Midnight Society piece is an example of a lot of people getting cold feet. They asked him about it, and he told them messages existed, but they weren't in that nature reported. Well, it doesn't sound like that happened at all. It sounds like he probably did say what happened, and they decided to part ways. But couldn't share them as part of the settlement, and the decision was made to put him out of the statement in haste. That was an impulsive move that they'll regret later. Absolute fucking bullshit. End to end. We already watched it, Nicholas. We already watched it at the start of the stream. So yeah, just you know, please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you on my hands and knees. Okay? Don't just push unverified bullshit that looks nonsense because it agrees with you. Okay? Like, oh, I can't bear it, man. I can't bear it. Even now, people are still sharing this. Grum shared this email claiming there was a witch hunt against Doc. Well, it probably is true. Like that guy that shared it originally said, fuck him and his boys or something like that, right? So it's probably true that there's some bad will somewhere, but this like overarching conspiracy is just ridiculous. You know, I mean, we're getting to fucking Vouch levels of retarded sweeping with some of this stuff, you know? Well, I can't prove it's false, can I? But you would need to prove that it's legitimate. And by the fact the person is not willing to verify their identity, I mean, it just goes to show, like I say, you would contact a journalist and you would say, hey, you know, here's who I am. I want to stay off the record, but I've got a scoop for you. I've got a story for you. I've got, you know, I want to speak off the record. Bloomberg did it. Bloomberg did it with anonymous Twitch employees, you know? Anyway, let's have a quick look. I actually meant to do this a second ago, but I forgot. So, Nickmercs responded to this again. He obviously responded the first time around and said there's no evidence. Let's see what happens. But now he's issued this statement. So let's see what he's got to say for his boy.
Yo, checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that, you know, he was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes, you know, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do, you know? So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I mean, look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right? Yo.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I do think that there's a reasonable point in there somewhere about that some of these guys will go, I mean, imagine if, you know, if dude, like imagine if this was a trans person or something, right? Like the tone would be very different, yeah? There's definitely a point in there somewhere to make about that. But thing that I find super fucking obnoxious is there's some people who are clearly extremely politically motivated who aren't just making a point of like broad hypocrisy or something, but they're saying like, you need to walk back your statements about the gays now. And I'm just like, someone could absolutely despise homosexuals, and I don't really think they'd need to walk it back to make a statement like this, right? But I do agree that, you know, he would definitely have a different tone if this was an LGBT issue, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, whether he knew or not, there's obviously a discussion to have there. I'm sure he can make good arguments on either side of it. I don't know. I lean more towards he probably didn't know, but I could be convinced either way, to be honest. I just don't know if there's enough to go on to say with certainty that he knew. I would say he probably didn't know. And, you know, particularly with how dishonest Dr. Disrespect has been, even up until a few days ago where he was claiming he didn't do anything wrong. I could easily imagine a world where he's telling his mates, oh yeah, I got done dirty by Twitch, they fucking lied and da-da-da, you know, so. But yeah, anyway, that was Nickmercs' response. And then we got Timthetatman. Now, Timthetatman, I don't think has got much political input or role in this at all. I think he genuinely is just a guy that has just kind of played some games with him, right? Oh, fuck. Hang on. I fucked this up a bit.
We still don't know if
Sorry, Nickmercs made another statement on stream about it. So let's have a look. He's got a shirt on this time.
we still don't know if he knew she was underage. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. He admitted that in his tweet. Yeah, people are still trying to defend what he did. I mean, even he tried to defend what he did in a really odd way in that tweet. Like, he said that he knew that she was underage and he would still text her. And the text, I can't remember how he put it in his tweet, but what did it say? That the texts would sometimes go a certain way? Yeah, he edited the tweet 3 times. Just so bad. It's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. And look, what do you want from me, man? You know, I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt until we knew more. But look, it's unacceptable when you have just in any world that is unacceptable. You gotta be smarter. You gotta be better. You can't do like that. It's not only is it against the law, but where the
He would have a totally different tone if they were trans. Do you really disagree with that? You really think that he'd be talking about it in this way if it was a trans person? Like, you know, I don't want to make this all political, but I just think that's undeniable. I think, yeah, he absolutely would be going absolutely fucking ham on it. Right? I mean, dude, I've seen him talk about it in other contexts. Now, I would agree that as a transphobe, yes, thank you. I don't think that's a crazy take to, you know. What does trans shit have to do with this at all? Well, I'm saying that, you know, I understand there's an argument to be made there about, you know, some sort of hypocrisy or contradiction. But I'm saying that, you know, people that are fucking, you know, asking him to redact his statements or change his statements about LGBT people is insane. Like, I don't think it matters if he's the biggest fucking bigot going, because that doesn't really speak to him being able to condemn someone or not, you know?
is your head and your heart at to do things like that? You know? What are we doing? Why are we doing stuff like that? So to act like I don't care or act like I'm not upset about the he did is crazy. You just have to remember that he was a friend of mine. So obviously I'm going to behave a little bit differently. I got some weird,
that's fair,
you know, attachments to this. You know, I do. He was a friend. People think that we're like best friends, like we're hanging out. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together, and newsflash, he was in.
I've got to be honest with you. This here is a little bit dishonest, right? I don't even know the guy. I mean, he's not saying I don't know the guy. I think he's doing a little bit of distancing, but I don't know if it's
in a wig. It's not easy to go through, you know, as a friend. Or are you staying as friend? Oh no, I'm not staying as friend. No, I'm gonna look. You know, your friends can make mistakes. And you can forgive and stuff, and you don't need to live with all that hate in your heart, I guess, per se. But like I said, this kind of thing for me is inexcusable.
Let me listen to that again. Yeah, I don't know, man. I get the impression that he's trying to distance himself a little bit from him. Or is he just saying, I didn't really know him that well? Let me listen again.
He did is crazy. You just have to remember that he was a friend of mine. So obviously I'm going to behave a little bit differently. I got some weird, you know, attachments to this. You know, I do.
I've got some weird. He's my friend. I got some weird attachments to this.
He was a friend. People think that we're like best friends, like we're hanging out. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together, and newsflash, he was in a wig. It's not easy to go through, you know, as a friend. Or are you staying as friend? Oh no, I'm not staying as friend.
Did he flip? I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a flip necessarily, because he's still saying they were friends.
Remember that he was a friend of mine.
Maybe a bit.
So obviously I'm going to behave a little bit differently. I got some weird, you know, attachments to this. You know, I do. He was a friend. People think that we're like best friends, like we're hanging out. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together, and newsflash, he was in a wig. It's not easy to go through, you know.
Oh, I think he's saying more so that he was like friendly with the character of Dr. Disrespect, but he wasn't, you know. He's saying he was my friend, but I didn't even know him that well. I think he's trying to say he was my friend in terms of as a character, like the guy is on stream, but I didn't like hang out with him on a personal level beyond the character that he plays on a stream. I think that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, like they were like they're co-workers,
Okay,
right? Like,
but
yeah.
how do I make money off depressed people?
DOC cheated on his wife texting a trans leaked.
Thank you for the 420. Yeah, the way this was presented, I thought this was going to be more of a straight up like, oh, I barely knew him. I barely knew anything about the guy. I think to me it's more so like, you know, oh yeah, I was friends with him. I knew him as Dr. Disrespect, you know, kind of like you might know someone at work. You'd be friends with someone at work, but you don't know what they're getting up to behind closed doors necessarily. That I think is what he's saying, more so than it being a straight flip, but you know.
As a friend. Was, or are you staying as friend? Oh no, I'm not staying as friend. No, I'm gonna look, you know, your friends can make mistakes and you can forgive and stuff, and you don't need to live with all that hate in your heart, I guess, per se, but like I said, this kind of thing for me is inexcusable.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, dude, I just think people have been so obnoxious about the Nickmercs part of this. I find it so insufferable, right? Like, there's so many people that are demanding that he, like, renounce his opinion. Like, it's fucking insane, dude. People are like, well, are you going to renounce your opinion about the gays now? And it's like, why would he? What does it matter if he despises gay people? You know? It's fine if you want to fucking, you know, I don't know, come at it from another angle, but I just don't think there's much merit in, you know, acting like him having a bad opinion about the gays or something is reneged by this. Like, people literally, you know, looking for him to renounce his opinion on something is stupid. I don't know, man. Look, at the end of the day, you know, you could make an argument that he is trying to distance himself more than I'm saying he is. I don't think that that's true. I think that he is just saying, I didn't know his personal affairs that well. You know, I was friends with Dr. Disrespect, not Guy Beam. Yeah. And I don't think that he knew. I don't think that he knew personally. I think this was, I think he probably knew, like, about the ban and stuff, obviously, right? But I don't know if he was. I can imagine a world where Dr. Disrespect lied to him and was dishonest to him about the situation, right? He knew the whole time, based on what? Based on what? Yeah, but you sharing stuff like this, like, I feel like, oh God, what, dude, one thing that's so annoying about this is there are some people who you've got a bad view about, okay, right? And it's like, this happening is being used to justify or back up or validate the bad view that you've got about someone, okay? I don't really care about all this other shit about Nickmercs, right? I just genuinely don't really care about it. The main thing I care about is, you know, he definitely knew the ban reason, and he says he gave Doc the benefit of the doubt. I thought that was in regards to, like, the recent revelations. Nah, I don't think there's much to say about Nickmercs here. I mean, I get it, you know, maybe there's an argument to be made. I don't fucking know. There probably is some argument you can make about, oh, well, maybe he didn't know. I don't buy it personally. I don't think he knew necessarily. I think he was probably lied to by Dr. Disrespect. Timthetatman. Let's look at Timthetatman's statement quickly. Let's have a look at this.
Wow, this is absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing.
Also, bear in mind, right, that Dr. Disrespect got quite a favorable settlement towards himself, which he could have used to back up the argument that he didn't do anything wrong to his mates, right? I mean, a lot of people broadly would have thought that Twitch were in the wrong because of the settlement, right? So he probably used that to bolster his, oh, well, look, they settled the contract with me. Obviously, I can't have fucking done that much wrong, right? So I don't know, man. I think there's an Tim the Tatman. In any case, I don't think there's any real political or any other ramifications with him. I think he was genuinely just his pal.
Welcome
he probably didn't
to
know
Chud
anything, right?
Nation.
Hey, thanks for the gifted.
I have known Doc for
subs in the channel.
a while now. We've played games for years, and seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult thing for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate, if he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't. I appreciate y'all. This is
Okay, that's
beating me
wonderful.
up, but
how do I make money?
Thanks for the
this
$2.
is unfortunate to say the least. This is awful. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love you give, and I'll see y'all soon, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really just a condemnation, isn't it? The only argument is whether or not they knew. I don't think so. I just think that with everything that happened, Dr. Disrespect could have easily pulled the wool over the eyes of his friends. I don't really have any good reason to believe that they definitely knew what happened. He doesn't fucking care. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, all they can really do is condemn and say that I can't support that, whatever. I mean, he admitted to wrongdoing. Like, he just admitted to it. Do you know what I mean? There's no room for any doubt that, he himself is saying, yeah, I did message a minor in an inappropriate way. I mean, he gave it up. Yeah, exactly. Explain the admission. Explain the admission. He said that he did have communications with a minor, and he said that at times it was inappropriate. What do you need me to explain? What part isn't clear about that? Like, what do you mean? What is there to explain, bro? Oh, come on, Rick. That's really annoying. You've cultivated some shitters. That's such a retarded comment, okay? This is an open chat. Anyone can fucking come in at any point, okay? I've got no control over that. It's like opening your doors to a store in the middle of town and some fucking junkie retard comes in. Oh, your clientele isn't particularly smart, are they? Well, it's an open door. I can't stop them coming in, can I? Fuck me, dude. Where does he admit he knew the age at the time? Okay, you're looking at this the wrong direction. Okay? The question I would ask is, why didn't he make it clear that he didn't know the age if that's the case? Why would he not state that clearly? I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things it could or couldn't have been, but if there's anything that would exonerate him, why would he not include it in his statement? It just seems crazy to me that you wouldn't include crucial information that would make you look better. Why? Why would you leave that part out? Oh yeah, message a minor. Should I put in there that I didn't know the age, or or that I, whatever? No, I'll leave that bit out, and I'll just leave it as, I messaged a minor inappropriately, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay? Come on, dude. Unless he's just phenomenally bad at writing statements. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. It seems like that would be an important detail to leave in. Now, that being said, I'm more than happy to leave room for something to come out. It could be, there's a very, very, very slim chance that a bunch of messages come out. he is retarded, and it turns out it's nowhere near as bad as he himself has made it out to be, right? Like, maybe that's going to happen. You never know, okay? I just think anything that exonerates him or makes it look better, he would have included. He hasn't, so I'm going to go ahead and presume that anything that would come out would likely be more damning than he is letting on in his statement. But yeah. Anyway. So you say, wait, was this who's got the Richard Lewis stream? I want to watch a bit of Richard Lewis. I want a bit of Richard Lewis in my life.